Welcome to Class Time English Language. You can tune in to JNN at 5 p.m. for the repeat of today's lesson. And for 24-hour learning, there's a School Time channel on One Spot Media. You can also watch the lesson in real time on Television Jamaica's YouTube channel or One Spot Media. I am Charlene Woodburn. I notice that in your work, you have been doing your writing and you've been doing very good. But you have been writing a lot of wills and you have been ignoring shall. Is it because you are not comfortable with the word shall? Today, I am going to help you to improve that as we look at using shall and will. Let us look, before we go into our lesson, at our CSEC English A copyright objectives. You should be able to identify stated or implied time sequence. Explain meaning conveyed through word choice and grammar. Interpret and respond to pictorial information. And use appropriate diction and grammatical forms to convey meaning clearly and with facility. Before we go into our activities, I would like you to pay attention to some words we call subject pronouns. So let's go to the whiteboard. We have our subject pronouns. Remember these? I, we, and remember, these are just for convenience. Instead of saying my name, I use I. Instead of saying several names, you would use we. All right then? So this is just for convenience. We don't have to call any names. And you have you, of course. You singular, you plural. Then we have he, she, it, singular, and they for plural. To find out how to use shall and will appropriately, you have to understand how to use them with these subject pronouns. All right. So then, let us go deep into our lesson. Remember when we did the future perfect tense? That was not so long ago. And you notice that when we are stating the future perfect tense, we have the word will. So we are going to do a bit of revision, and we're going to see what does the future perfect tense have to do with shall and will. When we are writing in the future perfect tense, we make the decision for future with will. And when we use have, we are meaning right now in that time. So although you are predicting the future, when you are saying that when the future times come, you will be present in the future. So there we have. And the past participle form of any verb is attached. For example, we have begun. So this is the past participle form of begin. And the past tense would be began. And we have the past participle form begun. So then, when we are writing the future perfect tense, remember, we have, will have begun. In this case, begun is the past participle form of begin. And you could use any other verb that is in the past participle form, such as slept, okay, jumped, and looked. And we did say that when you form the past participle form of some verb words. They do not change. For example, jump. Past tense of jump, jumped. And the past participle form of jump is jumped. Now, this may look very simple to you, but when you write and you miss off a part of the word, it shows that you need to study more carefully how to write the grammar in standard form. Okay? For example, we could say, by Friday, I will have begun my revision for the test. So I am looking into the future, and this would be the future perfect tense in expression. Let us move forward. So then, we had looked at the definition for the future perfect tense. And according to the Concise Oxford English Dictionary, we saw that future, okay, in grammar is of a tense, and it's expressing an event yet to happen. So the future tense expresses an event yet to happen. Bear that in mind as we progress our lesson this morning. And if you are going to express the future perfect tense, then you would say that it is a tense of verbs. So right away, you should remember that 3 verbs form the future perfect tense. Okay then? And the other word for when more than one verb form a tense, you call that a verb phrase. Very good. All right. So the future perfect tense expresses, okay, completion in the future, okay? And this is an example. Will have slept, will have begun, will have eaten, will have plus the past participle form. So you are seeing then that will is expressing future, and we said that we are looking at shall and will in this lesson. So right away you are seeing that there is a commonality between the future perfect tense and the use of shall and will. All right. So note that if you have already made up your mind to do something, you do not say shall or will. Some of us will make that error. You're still making that error, right? You're saying, I am going to do something. Okay, when you're not even sure if you'll get it done. So if you have already arranged to do something, if you have made up your mind before you spoke, okay, you say am. But if you, on the spot of the moment, right, are deciding that you would like to do something, then you use will. Okay? For example, I'm going to sleep at midnight. Okay? That would be you in error trying to express the future. But you do not really know if when midnight comes, you will be in that state of unconsciousness. You will be asleep. You're not sure. So you really want to make a prediction, not state something that is certain because you don't really know. So you should say, instead of saying, I am going to bed at midnight, okay? You will say, I will have been in bed at midnight. I will have been in bed at midnight because you don't even know if when midnight comes, you're going to fall asleep. All right. So let us have a conversation to kind of cement this concept. We already have seen that what is common between the future perfect tense and this lesson in the use of shall and will is that the future perfect uses will. That's the commonality, and that's where it ends. We are not doing a future perfect tense, but bear in mind that there is a similarity in the usage. So let us have this conversation to make sure we know that when we are using will, it means that, okay, we have just made the decision. Okay, let's talk. You and your friend are speaking, and your friend says, where will you go for your holiday? You say, I'm going to Ghana. All right. So what should she say? Where will you go? Where are you going? So if your friend has made up her mind, booked her flight, and bought her ticket, she has made a decision. All right. So you don't say, where will you go for your holiday? You say, where are you going? Remember that. Once you have made up your mind, you say, I am going, okay? So you should say, where are you going for your holiday? I am going to Ghana for my holiday. How long are you going for? I am going to Ghana for 14 days. When are you going to leave? I am going to leave next Sunday. Are you going alone? No, I am going with a friend. Are you traveling by ship? No, I am traveling by airplane. Where are you going to stay? I am going to stay in an hotel. So then, you see, that's all you should be writing and speaking if you have already made up your mind to do something before you speak it. All right. Okay. Now study this picture. We are going to do an activity now. So study this picture. And over here, we are going to learn something. Remember, let's go back to the whiteboard. Remember our subject pronouns, okay? The subject pronouns are going to indicate whether we should use shall or will. All right, so then, I shall. So use I and shall when you are predicting. Use we and shall when you are predicting. Now, take out your notebooks, your notepad. You need to make some notes. Okay, after this class, never again should you be making a lot of wills and ignoring shall. Let's go again. I and we work with shall when we are making a prediction. To predict, it means that you did not make up your mind beforehand. Okay then? Remember what I was doing in the conversation. I am showing you that the person made up her mind to go on the trip. All right. No, she was not predicting. So we use shall with I and we when we are predicting. And we use will with I and we when we have an intention to do something. You got it? Let's go again. Very important. When you are predicting, you're not certain, but you are expecting that something like that could work out. You say, I shall. Or you say, more than one, we shall. And when we are stating an intention, okay, you say, I will. All right, then look at this picture. You say, we will. Look at this picture. You have left your home and you're out there on the street and you did not say that you're sure that you are going to find this. Anything can happen on the road. So you see this car? and you see what's happening, right? But you've come on the scene. And this is unexpected. And you are going to make a decision right now. Use the pronoun I. Are you supposed to say I shall? To give, you see, people are giving a response. Or should you say I will to this? Let us look on the next slide. We are going to analyze shall and will as strategies for learning. So let us take a look. According to the Concise English Dictionary, shall and will. With I and we, shall should be used to form the simple perfect tense. Okay? Simple future tense. Future, that should be future. My apology, future tense. Okay? I love the perfect tense. It's very sophisticated. Okay, the simple future tense. Expressing a prediction of a future action. Okay then? While will is used to express an intention to do something. So I'm going to go back to the picture. Is it that when you come upon the car that has been broken down, you are going to predict or you're going to state your intention? Let's go back to the picture. And then you can tell me what it is I am supposed to say. Remember, it's either a prediction or it's an intention. What do you think? Intention, of course. I want to help this man get the car started. I will help you push. I will help you push it. That's what he said. I will help you push. Okay? So I will. Okay? An intention has been expressed, not I shall. So I will help you push the car. Very good. No prediction there. All right then. So let us, before we go to this, let me remind you of some other things that have to do with will and shall. It's very important to know that when you are agreeing to do something, with I, you say, I will. For example, someone says to you, may I have another marker? And you said, yes. Okay, I will get one for you. All right. So when you're offering to do something right now, you say, that bag looks heavy. I'll help you with it. Okay, then you're not predicting, you're stating your intention. When you're promising to do something, you say, thanks for the loan. I'll pay you back month end. That is, you are intended. Okay? So, we also use will whenever we go to the altar. Those who go to the altar. And the marriage officer says, will you? You say, I will. You say, I will. Your intention to do something. Okay? Remember, you're not wedded yet, but you have every intention before you step out of that place, or if it's a garden, before you leave, to be wed. So you say, I will. All right. So let us reinforce. We use shall and will. That's very important. And I feel to just go back, very important. You are using a lot of wills and not enough shalls. Okay then? And that word is just there, suffering for attention. So let us go again. When do we use shall again? When we are predicting. We have not made up our mind, but we use it with I and we. Very important. That's why I put on the whiteboard these, because the key to this is right here. You know, the English grammar is very funny because there are some words in the English language that we can't really explain, but that's how it is. So I and we are special. I singular, we plural, and we use I and we with shall when we are predicting. We are not sure of something. But again, you use I and we with will when you have the intention, to do something. You got that? Very good. Okay then. So let us do another exercise. We are going to look at a poem, okay? And I think we will return to this after the break. So here is another strategy. Mr. McKay, you know him, right? Festus Claudius McKay, Claude McKay. Okay, famous poem. I shall return again. I shall return to laugh and love and watch with wonder eyes. At golden noon, the forest fires burn, wafting their blue-black smoke to sapphire skies. Let's see what we can do a little understanding first. Okay, any funny words? Okay. Golden noon, bright sunrise, okay. Sun shining bright, okay, brightly. Forest fires burn, we know that. Wafting, okay, wafting, right? That's, that kind of gentle kind of movement, wafting, right? And sapphire skies, sapphire. Oh, you know the color sapphire? Okay, it can be that dark, when the smoke is very rich. Okay, the fire is heavy, it's red and orange and blue and just curling and sapphire skies. All right then, so he's remembering. But I shall return. Now, I, subject pronoun. Does he know for certain if he'll return, or is predicting that he will return? He doesn't even know if he's going to live for tomorrow. Okay, so he's predicting. He's predicting. I shall return. He never did. Okay, I shall return, he says. I shall return to laugh and love and watch with wonder eyes. Wow. At golden noon, the forest fires burn, wafting their blue-black smoke to sapphire skies. So that's one example, okay, of shall. All right. Very good. So that's very important for us to remember. Here we go again. 4 more examples. With I shall be late for work. You're traveling and you come upon a roadblock. You know what you're always saying? You will be late for work. That's what you're always, not after this lesson. It's time for our usual break. Stay with us. Class time continues right after this. Welcome back to class time. If you are just joining us, this is Class Time CSEC English Language. And today, we are looking at how we can improve our writing by using shall instead of will that you have been doing and it is not correct. Okay? So let us revise and go back a little at what we have been doing. Now, we have some subject pronouns which we are using today for convenience. It stops us from calling a lot of names. So I is me and we, more than one person, okay? So with I and we. So you do not use will all the time and you're afraid to touch shall. It sounds so funny when you say shall, but just practice after today's class and it shall come easier. Now that's my prediction. Okay, so with I and we, shall should be used in the simple future tense. Everything about beyond this time, shall is used with I and we. Okay? That means he, she, it, or they or you will not use those words. Okay, then we are coming to that. I don't want to confuse you. It is a very tricky thing, and that's why you have been leaving it out of your writing. All right, then. And we looked at this verse, and we saw that there is a prediction. I shall return. Okay, not I will return, because there's no certainty. So I shall return, prediction. Okay, and now we are moving forward, and we are looking at some more classwork. I shall be late for work. Okay, you're leaving out, and you're not really sure, but you're thinking that based on the time, you know, it's possible that you could be late. Sometimes you think you're going to be late, and you're not. So that's why it's prediction. I shall be late for work. We shall overcome this trial. You know, we shall overcome, you know. And number 2 says, we will not tolerate this rudeness. What's that? Is that prediction? No, right? No. Somebody is acting up. And you say, we will not tolerate this rudeness. Or you say, I will not tolerate this rudeness. Okay? That is intention. So we said that with I and we, shall is used to express prediction, the simple future tense. But when you use will, you are stating an intention. I will. I will sanitize my hands with my own sanitizer. If you're standing at the supermarket door and you're not sure, you say to the gentleman, I will sanitize with my own sanitizer, okay? Your intention. Let's work some more examples, right? We have to work, classwork. Okay then. So we're going to make a prediction using shall to predict, okay? What will happen in the future in the simple future tense. Now, number 1, let us go work together. You and a friend want to do something this evening, but you don't know what, so you ask the friend what? What do you ask the friend? What shall we do this evening? What shall we do? You're predicting that come when evening comes, you know, you could even change your mind. So that's why it's predicting, right? Number 2, you try on a jacket in a shop, you know, you go shopping and you want to see if it fits properly. You're not sure whether to buy it or not. You turn to your friend. You ask your friend for advice. What do you ask her? Shall or will? Shall I buy it? You say, shall I buy it? Okay. Well, you're expecting, you're predicting, shall I buy it? Okay. And she may say, yes. Okay, it looks good on you or something like that. Okay, number 3. Father's Day is coming up. You want to give your uncle a present, but you cannot decide on what. You ask your mother for advice. What shall I get, Uncle Jack? What shall I? What shall I? Because you're just expressing the prediction that you're in your mind, you want to buy a present, okay? What shall I buy, Uncle Jack? Okay, following? All right, let us continue. Now we are going to go into the harder part of the lesson. What did we say again? We said that I and we uses shall to predict and will to state an intention. I and we uses shall to predict and will to state an intention. And the we is just a plural of I, more than one person. Now we are going to go, let's go to the whiteboard. We are going to go to the rest of these. So far, we have been looking at I and we said that when we are using I and we use shall to predict and will to state an intention. Remember the car that was broken down? And you just went up and you said, I will help you push. Right now, my intention is to give assistance, right? So we have done quite a few exercises on the I and we with shall and we. Now we are going over here now to look at the other subject pronouns. You singular, you plural, singular, plural. Okay, let's go back over here to the next board. With you, he, she, it, and they that we just looked at, the situation is reversed. Now, don't take it easy. Don't get confused. Just work along with me, right? Okay. Simple future is expressed with will, while shall expresses an intention or command. So, with I and we, shall is used to predict and will states an intention. For the other subject pronouns, you, he, she, it, and they, when you are expressing the simple future, you say will. Okay? And shall expresses an intention or command. So, for the car that was broken down now, let us say that you were a bystander watching this man help to push. Let's go back to the picture. Very important. Because I do not wish for you to be confused. So let's take a quick look at that same picture that I showed you with the car. Let us say that you were a bystander, right? You're not the person helping to push. You stood and you looked, right? You saw the scene. And you want to say something about this gentleman here with all his might. You see how he muscle up? All his tongue come out to just help take the pressure. And you said, what would you say? He shall help the person to get the car started. Okay? That's intention. He shall give assistance. He shall give assistance to the car. If it were you, speaking of yourself, You would say what? I will. All right. So let's go back to where we were a while ago. And take it easy and do not be confused. Just take your time to get the concept right. Okay. So will is used to express the simple future when you are dealing with you, he, she, it, and they. So they will be here tomorrow. She will be doing an exam on the 15th or the 20th. You will have dinner by 6 p.m. this evening. So that is simple future. But when you are giving a command or expressing an intention, you use shall. So someone comes up to you and asks you for permission. You say, you shall not get permission. Okay then, so that's a command. Okay, let's look at it more clearly here now. You, he, she, it, they, plural. Use will with you to express the simple future action. If you write he, she, or it, and remember, these are pronouns, they stand for names, right? Okay. Simple future action, will, with he, she, or it. Oh, predictions. What you expect to happen. Okay then? And they, with will, for the simple future action. So this is a little bit clearer, okay, than the definition I was just reading. You can see it in a different way now. So you use will for the simple future action, but when you're expressing an intention or giving a command, you use shall. So it is, you will be going to school next week. That's the future. You shall not eat from anyone's lunchbox. You hear me, boy? Okay, that's a command. Okay then, you see what I mean? Okay then. So make sure you make a note of these and make sure that you are practicing. Okay, let us look at some more classwork. So then, he will be late for work. Okay, your simple future. You see the person going through the door 5 minutes before he should start working. And he's going to start working at 8 o'clock and he's going through the door at 5 minutes to 8. Goes without saying that he's going to be late, okay? So he will be late for work. You shall surrender or die. Okay, command. You know, battle time, surrender or you shall. Sounds funny? We just practice. You have been doing it for a long time. You have been writing without using the correct word. So it sounds funny, but the more you practice, the more you'll make it perfect. Okay then. So let's go to they now. They shall not leave the classroom before rearranging the desks. You know, whatever they were doing, and they just like to rush through the door and leave everything behind them, untidy. You say you're talking to your colleague and you say they shall not leave the classroom until the desks are rearranged. Okay. Maybe you have someone who is always leaving the kitchen untidy. You say, you shall not leave for school this morning unless you wash the plates. Okay, that's a command or intention. Okay, just practice. All right then, and you will get it. What did we say about I and we again? With I, you use shall to predict. Okay, so if you will say I shall to predict, and you would say I will for intention. Okay. All right, you've been doing very well so far. Just concentrate. Okay then? And let us take a look at this particular exercise. This one is a tricky one. I'm going to get you with this one. Okay. All right, critical thinking time now. Okay then. So let us analyze the situation right here. It's taken from To Kill a Mockingbird. As you can see, Thomas Robinson reached around, ran his fingers under his left arm and lifted it. He guided his arm to the Bible, and his rubber-like left hand sought contact with the black binding. As he raised his right hand, the useless one slipped off the Bible and hit the clerk's table. He was trying again when Judge Taylor growled, "That'll do, Tom." Okay, Tom took the oath and stepped into the witness chair. Atticus very quickly induced him to tell us. All right, let's get the context first. Okay, where is Tom here? He's in court. Okay, then. And it's time for him to go into the witness box to give his testimony. Did you rape Maela Ewell? Okay. And Atticus is going to prove that he did not. And of course, he has to take the oath. But what do we know about Tom? One of his arm is no good. Okay, he has no use in it. It cannot lift anything. It is as good as dead, only it is still on his body, right? So he can't use it voluntarily. So as the order of court goes, right, he has to lift the Bible with that hand. And he's trying his best, but he cannot make it. Just imagine. And the judge issues, does the judge predict here? Or does the judge give a command? Command, of course. Your Honor, okay, is giving a command. That'll do, Tom. Okay then. Okay then. So let's see. This is a contraction, right? A contraction. Let us go to the whiteboard very quickly to look at this contraction. This contraction stands that'll, okay? So let us look right over here, and we have that, okay, will, okay, can you see it? Okay, that will, and to shorten now, and we can leave out either one letter or two letters in a contraction. So we have that, apostrophe LL. All right then, that'll do, okay? And we also have that shall. Okay, I'm testing you this morning. That shall. And how would we contract shall? All right, let's do the same thing that we did with the will. So we have that, okay? Can you see it? Okay? And we have ALL. Okay, so we are going to take a break, and when I return, this is critical thinking. What should be said? Okay, we'll be right back after these short messages. Welcome back to class time. Let's pick up from where we left off. Now, let's go over here to the screen. I'm checking to see how well you are thinking. I'm going to go back to the extract shortly, but just a reminder. When you are expressing an intention or command with you, he, she, it, or they, you use shall. Remember that. And we looked at the extract and we saw that the judge had issued a command to Tom. Okay. So then, according to the Oxford Standard Dictionary, okay, concise English dictionary, we should expect shall to be in the extract. Even if you replace Tom with you, from, first person the judge, Tom second person, or you would say he, it is still shall to express a command. So let us go back to the extract now. And I'm checking to see how well you are thinking today. This is your big critical thinking. Let's go to the whiteboard, critical thinking exercise. The judge said, that'll do, Tom. And that's a contraction. Now, is it will do or shall do, Tom? Based on the work that we looked at on the screen, should the judge be saying will do or shall do to Tom? Shall do, because it's a command. Okay, very good. Therefore, which of these is correct? Come over here on the screen, right here. This one here, let me mark it for you. Okay? Is it this or this? Which of these do you recognize here? Which? This. But the judge is expressing a command. So it should be this. Yes, that's right. Should be this. So when you are reading as an active reader, you often have to look and see where there could be slips in your text. All right? So let's go back to the extract. So the judge, the writer, should have written here and make the judge say, that'll do, Tom. Okay? That'll do. Okay? Meaning that shall do. Tom, that shall do. Do not try to lift the Bible with a dead hand anymore. Enough. That shall do. Go on and take the oath. So that'll do. So the next time you want to write a contraction and give a command or state an intention or give an instruction, remember, don't put that'll with he, she, it, they, you. THAT''ALL to contract for that shall. And why? Because shall is used to express a command or instruction or intention, okay, with he, she, it, they, or you. That's how it is. Okay, then. Very good. Make a note of that. Let us work another one. Let us look at this extract. Analyze how will is used in this extract. Of course, this is from Orchids by Simmons MacDonald, okay, one of your poems. This morning the bud at the stalk tip unfurled. I think I'll pluck the full-blown blooms and press them between pages of memory. Perhaps in their thin, dried transparency, I'll discover their peculiar poetry. Okay, remember orchids? And she got this orchid, and she doesn't appear to really love flowers, and she just left it to die. But she's about to leave. And she has packed up all her things in boxes, and she's about to go through the door, and her eye catches the orchid, and she says, I think I'll pluck the full blooms, press them between pages of memory. Now, what is she expressing here? Is it intention or prediction? Now, we're back to I now. A while ago, we're looking at he, she, it, or they, or you in that extract about Tom. And now we are back to I. See if you're following the lesson. We did I first. And we say that we use I and shall to express the simple future, and we use we, okay, as well, I and we use these pronouns with shall to express the simple future and will to express intention. So let's get back to the extract. Is she expressing an intention? She wants to take the bloom of the orchid with her? Yes. Therefore, this is correct. I think I'll pluck the full-blown blooms. All right. That's an intention. I intend to take that with me. Okay. We are getting to the end of our lesson, and we take one last look at what we were doing. Okay, so with I and we, will is used to express an intention to do something. Okay then, Sarah is talking to Helen. Let's have a party. That's a great idea. We'll invite lots of people, okay? Use will to announce a decision. Okay, that's a very hard concept this morning. Use I and we with shall to predict the simple future tense, and use will with I and we to express an intention. Very important. So remember that. We have come to the end of our lesson. Do some reading, do some writing, practice, okay? And that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize, and keep your distance.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much for watching.